Huawei has equipped the 2024 model of its multimedia laptop, the MateBook D16, with an Intel Core i9-13900H processor. However, it is held back by its power limits. Severe cuts have been made, especially regarding the ports, but, by contrast, the battery life has improved. Huawei is launching a new version of its MateBook D16 which comes with the powerful Intel Core i9-13900H Raptor Lake processor. This is housed in a metal case together with 16 GB of RAM and a 1 TB SSD. The matte IPS display has complete sRGB coverage but only full HD resolution and also no special features such as a higher refresh rate. When you take a closer look at the datasheet, you will also find a 720p webcam or even an old USB 2.0 port. Huawei has an asking price of £1,199 for its new MateBook D16 2024 and we have examined whether this is justified. Optionally, there is also a cheaper variant which comes with a Core i5-13420H, 16 GB of RAM and a 512 GB SSD for £699. However, we are also dealing with a worse display, only 45% NTSC instead of 100% sRGB, and a smaller battery, 56Wh rather than 70Wh. At first glance, the dark gray case doesn't differ from its predecessor, but it is a new shell and the internal design has also changed. Thanks to the slim bezels, the design appears more modern and the surfaces are not especially prone to attracting dirt and fingerprints. One new feature is the display hinge which now has a maximum opening angle of 180 degrees. The hinges sit very tightly and it's impossible to open the lid with one hand. Nevertheless, a clear, visible wobble is present when adjusting the opening angle. Quality-wise, the case makes a decent impression. Huawei has opted against using metal and although the plastic construction is mainly solid, the base unit and lid give easily when pressed in the central area. This doesn't lead to any drawbacks in everyday use. Twisting the base unit results in rather unattractive creaking noises. When it comes to ports, you only get the bare minimum and the situation is a clear backward step, even in comparison to the old MateBook D16 2022. Huawei has completely opted against using Thunderbolt or USB 4. Instead, there is only a single USB-C port, 3.2 Gen 1, which is also used for the PSU. On the right-hand side, the lone USB-A connector only uses the 2.0 standard. In this price category, that is an absolute no-go. The HDMI output also only supports the 1.4 standard, which means that rather than being able to operate external 4K monitors at 60 Hz, only 30 Hz is possible. Even the old 2022 model had an integrated HDMI 2.0 output, as well as an additional USB port. The only benefit in this section is cross-device operation if you use other Huawei devices, e.g. smartphones, tablets. Huawei has gone for the familiar Intel AX201 Wi-Fi module which supports Wi-Fi 6 networks but not yet the current Wi-Fi 6E standard. Nevertheless, connected to our ASUS reference router, the performance is very good and, during testing, we were unable to detect Wi-Fi connection problems in any shape or form. The webcam in the top bezel only offers a measly 720p resolution and can therefore definitely no longer be considered up to date. Accordingly, images lack detail and are not particularly sharp. The bottom cover is secured with a total of 10 Torx screws, T5, and can be removed. Internally, you quickly notice the new cooling system which has two fans on the right-hand side of the base unit. In addition, you can also see that there is a lot of unused space that could have easily been used for RAM slots or a second M.2 2280 slot. But as it is, you have to make do with an SSD, 16 GB of soldered RAM and a soldered Wi-Fi module.